new series, Everyday Fresh, I'm going to show you how to create smarter, faster, super yum meals using everyday ingredients and making them shine. There's nothing better than a recipe that makes you feel great, is super delicious, nutritionally upscaled, and helps bring a little balance to your life. And of course, I'll be cooking some amazingly good, almost healthy sweets, full of super nice, better for you ingredients. If you need speedy dinner solutions, fresh food in an instant that delivers on taste as well as time, then Everyday Fresh is just for you. I just know you are going to love having a little Everyday Fresh in your life. In this episode, I'm going to be cooking one of my favorite zesty pasta dishes, crunchy garlic sourdough crumb, lemon and peppery rocket, finished with a creamy ricotta. It's a flavor and texture explosion. Plus, I'll be making the most simple creamy coconut ice cream with a miso caramel swirl. If you're looking for an update on salted caramel, then this is just for you. I'll also be cooking my chocolate fudge cake, which looks and tastes super naughty, but it's actually full of super nice and good for you stuff. Your new go-to chocolate cake. First up, my super flavoursome, no fuss, one pan recipe. It's my lemon, olive and butter bean chicken. It's a dish that's filled with big vibrant flavours and textures. So simple, so yum. Let's kick off with my lemon, olive, butter bean chicken because it is absolutely sensational. Big flavours, lemon, garlic, olives, oregano, lots of olive oil to make those all come together. It is my idea of one pan perfect. Great thing about this recipe is that the oven does lots of the hard work for you. Just gonna line my pan to keep all those flavors contained. So we just pop in the garlic cloves, still got their skin on, some fruity green olives, really big flavors here, lemon slices, 12 sprigs of oregano or marjoram or thyme, any kind of woody herb, and then a generous amount of olive oil that's got some really nice flavor to it, just to hold all these other big flavors together. And then it's into the oven for about 20 minutes, just to make sure all those flavors just start mixing together in that oil, ready for our chicken to roast. Off to the oven. So we've got soft, creamy butter beans, beautiful tender chicken, and then we top it with some crunchy cavolo nero to finish. And to prep this, what I like to do is just take out in a V section, just the middle vein, because that's the bit that you can't eat. Full of all the good stuff, cavolo nero, and it goes super crunchy on the top. Okay, that smells great. I think it's, oh wow. That was a total burst. Serious. Okay, chicken and butter beans. A little bit of a cheat, straight out of the tin, drain them. Butter or lima beans, as they can be called, but really large creamy beans, and they are absolutely delicious. They add that lovely creaminess to this dish. Perfect. Right, in with the chicken. Just pop it straight on top. Just got some chicken breast fillets here, trim them up. In with the beans, and then before it goes back in, secret to this dish, grab your tongs and stir it all about to coat the chicken. Just want that chicken coated with all of those big flavors. Okay, that's all mixed together, and then it's back in the oven for another 10, and then cavolo nero on the top just for the last 5, and that's gonna crunch up, be really lovely and crisp on the top, just another layer of texture. Well, the smell of the garlic and the lemons is telling me that this is working its it sure is. It is working its magic. Look at that. all the beautiful textures. One more texture to go. I'm just gonna pop some Cavolo Nero over the top, and that's gonna crisp up, make a really lovely crunchy layer. As it cooks, it shrinks back a bit, so don't worry, we'll see the chicken again. Doesn't say it in the recipe, but let's just put a tiny bit more olive oil over the top. Make sure that goes super crispy. Back in we go, just 5 more, and then we're done. By the amazing smells coming from the oven, I think our 1 pan perfect, oh my goodness, is ready. That is a lot of flavor burst. Yes. Okay, it's done exactly what I wanted it to do. Crunchy Cavolo Nero on the top, some really beautiful soft chicken, got olives, garlic to slip out of its skins. Whole dish is amazing. It's done exactly what I wanted it to do. All the flavors have mixed together, taste amazing. I really think you're gonna love it. We can all use an extra pasta dish in our repertoire, and this is my pasta with garlic crumbs, lemon and ricotta. I'm gonna jump straight in and get it going. I've got a really big saucepan of boiling water. I need to add a generous sprinkle of salt first though, and then in with my whole wheat pasta. So we just need to boil the pasta until it's al dente or just nice and soft. And then we're gonna throw all the remaining ingredients in here, cook them all up. 1 dish, 2 people, super easy. So al dente means to the tooth. So when I squeeze it, you'll see that it's just firm enough. And sometimes you can just see inside a tiny little firmer core. So that to me is ready to go. Drain the pasta, and then I'm just gonna leave that there, because I'm gonna be super quick to finish off our tasty weeknight dish. Secret to this dish is a really robust extra virgin olive oil to carry all the big flavors through the pasta. Generous amount of olive oil so it coats the pasta, crisps up our sourdough crumbs. Then in with our garlic, sliced garlic for maximum punch. Give that a little stir around, get that garlic flavor going through the oil. In with our breadcrumbs. I've just got some fresh sourdough breadcrumbs. They don't have to be dried. I actually prefer to use just soft breadcrumb that I've just torn up with my hands. Just toss those crumbs around in that garlic olive oil so they're nicely coated, so they crisp up nice and crunchy. It's the secret to this dish. Big flavors, big textures. Just like the garlic, which was sliced, so it has that big burst of flavor, I'm going to shred the lemon rind into here. Instead of finely, I'm using my zester just to pull the lemon peel where all the flavor is. Next, anchovies or the capers, whichever you like. Just give that a mix around. It's really easy from here on in. In with the pasta, give that a little shake. Don't want my breadcrumbs to go soggy. Stir it around. The quickest, most well-flavored pasta you'll ever make. That, I've got some parsley leaves. I'm just gonna tear them up. As I said, this is all about big, bold flavors, so no finely chopping here. Got some beautiful peppery rocket leaves. Really nice contrast against the pasta. Beautiful. Now, as a food stylist, I've only ever had one trick. People ask me about it all the time, and I have one trick only. Let me move this out of the way, because when you have one trick, we need to give it some room. It's my pasta twirl. And to make sure it stands up and it doesn't stay all flat in the bowl, put it in the bowl, and you turn the bowl, or you can turn the tongs if you're a thrill seeker. And look at that, the pasta stands up. Attitude and altitude. Just gonna finish this off with a scoop of beautiful, creamy, fresh ricotta. Pop that on the side. And the big finish, a bit of parmesan over the top. Good does that look? How amazing is that? Weeknight dinner, huge flavors, cooked in absolutely no time. Yum. It's time to make my coconut ice cream with miso caramel swirl. The miso gives salted caramel an updated flavor burst, which goes perfectly with my super creamy coconut ice cream. First step is to add the coconut cream, agave syrup and vanilla to the bowl of the electric mixer. Just give it a whisk to combine. Just needs to go in the freezer for about 30 minutes or until it's well chilled. Now all we need to do is whip the chilled coconut mixture, and to that we just add half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. We sieve it over the top, and that is the magic ingredient to make this coconut ice cream super smooth and creamy. So xanthan gum is just a natural vegetable gum. You'll find it at the supermarket. Ice cream has whipped. It's thick and it's fluffy. And it's all due to that tiny little secret, just a sprinkling of xanthan gum. To make the miso caramel, it's just a simple combination of white miso paste, maple syrup, and a touch of vanilla. The addition of miso to our salted caramel takes it to an entirely new level. Remove the ice cream from the freezer, let it stand for about 10 minutes, and then scoop it into bowls and serve it with the miso caramel. Super creamy coconut ice cream made even more delicious with my miso salted caramel. This recipe is my chocolate fudge cake. It looks super naughty, but it's actually full of super nice ingredients that are good for you as well. It's a really lovely velvety cake with the simplest of fudgy icings, and I'm pretty sure it's going to become your new go-to chocolate cake because it definitely is mine. It's really simple, all in one bowl, and it starts just with extra virgin olive oil. 3/4 of a cup I need. Pop that in our mixing bowl, and then it's just half a cup of maple and half a cup of milk. If you wanted to keep this cake dairy-free, then just use a nut milk. Splash in the milk, then it's in with 6 eggs. The eggs keep this cake really light and fluffy. So then half a cup of raw caster, nice fine sugar, but with a little hint of molassesy caramel, which goes so well with our cocoa. A couple of teaspoons of vanilla, I think I can freestyle. And then just give that a little whisk around until it's combined. This cake, seriously, so easy to make and yet so, so delicious. Done. Right, next step, really easy, really lovely rich dark cocoa for a lovely chocolatey flavour. And then it needs 3 teaspoons of baking powder, just for that extra lift. Just sift that over and then in with our almond meal. Lots of almond meal, 3.5 cups. Ground almonds. So gives the cake a lovely texture, keeping it super moist. And give it a mix around. And we're as good as done. You've got to love a cake that's all in one bowl and doesn't require electric mixers at all. Let me just show you my trick for lining cake tins because life is too short to faff about. I just simply take a piece of baking paper, and I'm using my home compostable brown baking paper. And I just do a little bit of arts and craft. Fold in half, half again, and into a cone. Now I just line it and put the tip in the middle, or roughly the middle, and then crease it, and that's where I'm going to start my first cut. And then you just cut in an arc. There, perfect fit, nice and snug. Last couple of mixes. Look at that. If you weren't here, I seriously would be starting to lick that spatula already. Let's pour some of that butter in. Tiny bit for this one, a little bit more for this one. And then I think it's time to get it in the oven. So off to the oven, only takes 30 to 35 minutes to cook. It's one of those cakes that I would rather undercook than overcook. I hate dry chocolate cake. So I'm gonna set my timer for 30 and have a little look. See how they're going. See. So the cakes have been in for 30 minutes. I'm just going to check them. Little touch with my finger. If it springs back, we're usually looking good. Smell amazing. Okay, while they're cooling, let's make some icing all in one bowl. And it's dairy-free as well because the base of it is smooth cashew butter. Now I need maple syrup as well, half a cup. And then just tip in our cocoa powder, lovely and rich, just to thin it out to a spreadable consistency. So what I like to do first is just mix this together and then just add enough milk for it to come together so it's nice and spreadable. Just mix that until it's smooth. It makes such a beautiful glossy icing, and it's really easy to spread over the cakes. Look at that. Once the cakes are cool, I'm just gonna pop them out. Just peel off our paper. Now, so I've got a nice flat surface to ice. I always invert the cake. And the good thing about icing it on the cake stand is that you can use this like a lazy Susan and just twist it around, and it makes it so much easier to get the icing level. Just spin it. It's just such a beautiful icing to work with. It's so glossy, so smooth. I always like to pile the icing up in the middle and then work it to the edges. Okay, if you want to make it look like the picture, because everyone loves being a food stylist, all you need to do for a really easy swirl on the top is take your palette knife, put it in at an angle, spin the cake around, and you get these lovely indented swirls across the top. Yum. This cake is so good, so easy to make, full of better for you stuff. I think we should have a look inside, don't you? Let's cut a slice. When I said it will become your new go-to chocolate cake, I wasn't joking. Look at that. Amazing. All that's left to do now is for me to put this on a plate and to enjoy my afternoon. Yum.